So, I'm here in Aalborg on the Digital Days with Thomas Graabæk and Morten Bilde. These two guys are leading experts within BIM here in Denmark. They come from a company called Juul and Frost Arkitekter, and this is highly exclusive for the Ho Chi Minh students of architecture in Ho Chi Minh. So, this is a little interview where I would like to hear a little about your company, so the students can learn a little about what Juul and Frost Architects are doing. So I don't know which of you will answer that.
I'll give it a go. We're a Copenhagen-based architectural firm, and as you can see in Danish behind me, we work with different scales of tasks. The number one task is city, space and landscape. It's very important for us to have the large scale as well. And then the next scale is primarily residential buildings, but also other building type buildings of that scale. And then we think it's very important for an architectural company also to have do our own research and be very much aware of how we as a company communicate to the world around us. So we have a small department taking care of that as well. Regarding to BIM, we collaborated with Studio Daniel Liebeskind in 2006, and they wished for a technical 3D model, which led us into our work with BIM models. Going through different choices on what we should do, we found out that we needed to go the IFC way, and amongst other criteria that made us to choose Arkitekter as our BIM working platform.
How many people are you in Juul and Frost?
For the time being, we are in the mid-20s people, 25, 6, 7.
Okay. When did you start implementing BIM in your company?
We really started in 2007 with the first projects. We thought that the Liebeskind project would be the start, but we found out that it was faster to do a smaller project, a real building project. And we did the headquarters for a Danish bank, which was a combination of renewing an existing building and doing a brand new building that is combined to it. And we didn't do a pilot, we didn't test the software before, we just chose this is the way to go, and then we started working there. And we found out that we only used about one guy for a month extra time on a whole project, going from 2D CAD to BIM. And the only problems we had was some of the detailing that was done in 2D CAD actually were wrong, because they didn't see the big picture about how to wrap the facade around the corners. It kind of got mixed up in the process. Things that would have been no problem if it was done in BIM. So we found out that's the way to go. But because of the economical climate in Denmark, it was very difficult to find the right people and give the right amount of focus on in the office to use BIM for every project. So it's been a long process, and now we are actually doing almost every new project in BIM, and most of us are working in BIM most of the time.
Okay, so implementing BIM in your company has taken about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really long process. Can you try and highlight the key points to why this is taking so long for the companies to implement?
It's very difficult for a lot of people to do something that they're not used to. A lot of people don't have the technical, they don't think it's fun to try new stuff. They think it's difficult to do things in another way. If they've used 10 or 20 years getting to know AutoCAD, and suddenly it's not the 3D part that's difficult, it's actually just moving to another software platform. It's that if the button is not located at the same place, it's very difficult. And some people think it's fun. Some people learn it more or less by themselves. Other people can get long courses and a lot of training and still not feeling comfortable doing it.
But you could also say that as an architect, you develop your own graphical language, and it can be very frightening to all of a sudden lose your primary pen, which gives you that edge, the pen being in any kind of software, and that fright of how can I develop a new graphic expression can be a showstopper for many architects.
While being on a tight deadline.
Yeah.
You could see a lot of people didn't actually want to go from 2D CAD to BIM. A few really wanted to, and the few who really wanted to actually moved the company so far that everybody saw the possibilities and everybody wanted to get on with BIM. And now it's no problem. We don't have anybody in the company saying, it's too difficult, it's probably not the right way to go, and it's probably better in 2D CAD.
So now you got the company motivated to use BIM. What is the most successful experience that you guys have had with BIM?
For me personally, it was moving from. I work in phases of projects where I often come in where you got the plans on, but you need elevations and sections. And for me, it's been a liberation to just push the elevation button, and then I haven't got the finished elevation, but I have the circumference of what I need. I have windows placed which I can start to move, and when I move a window in my elevation, it also moves in my plan. That's for me a very large benefit.
I had a project which was an early sketch project, which I did together with a senior architect who had no BIM skills at all. And he started doing some very light sketches in AutoCAD, and very fast we could move them into a BIM model because all his knowledge about building houses could be translated with simple sketches to this building, and in the matter of days we had a full building and could show the 3D illustrations to the client who liked the design. Nobody would ever think that we could design something in 2 days before.
So there's a lot of success by using BIM, but BIM can also be really difficult and frustrating at times. So what is the worst experience that you personally have had with using BIM as a process and a work method and of course your tool?
I would have to say that when we started using BIM, we often got really huge files which our computer platforms weren't optimized for. So a frustration was that it took very long time to open our files. It was a matter of 20 minutes, half an hour to open a file. That was a frustration. But things evolve very fast, and that is not an issue anymore.
I think one of the biggest problems in the beginning was that when you're on a deadline and you have to deliver, and if you don't have the skills to do the BIM project very fast, you tend to do, okay, I'll do the facade in 2D. Oh, and I'll do this 3D in SketchUp. So suddenly a lot of people started up using BIM and then took parts out from the project to other software, and they never got back in because we never had the time to take the 2D facade and put into the BIM project. So suddenly we had 3 different projects trying to raise them to the same level. So we had to make a internal law at the office that when you're working on a BIM project, you don't do anything in 2D CAD or SketchUp unless the senior architect has approved it. So everybody have to do it no matter how long time it takes.
Okay. As a director of Center for Construction and Business, where we work a lot with business development across the value chain in the construction industry, we have a lot of focus about this business development. And a lot of architect companies companies are implementing BIM because they think they can have some benefits. Can you try and highlight for the students and me what benefits the company have had of implementing BIM in your company?
First of all, it's very fast. There's no way we could have done as much work as fast as we can now. Another thing is that it's more fun to use BIM for the architect, and we are hired in as a business partner, and nobody thinks about if we're having fun. But the projects actually get better when everybody thinks that this is so fantastic. This project, my boss, he sits behind me and he's doing the facades in real time instead of sitting on a drawing and changing the facade drawings. Now he's part of the process, and he can put all his architectural knowledge through me into the model, and that's a great way to get better architecture.
Yeah, and a lot of benefit on the economics.
Of course, it's our product. If our product is better, we make more money, and if you can do it faster, it doubles.
So it basically comes down to the internal efficiency of the architects and civil engineers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your experience is that there's a lot of positive for you as an architect, and for the company, there's actually value for money in the project by using BIM.
Of course.
Perfect. Thank you guys for giving this great speech in Danish and this exclusive interview for the Ho Chi Minh students at the School of Architecture. Thank you very much for taking your time, and I hope seeing you again next year on the Digital Days to hear some more about your experience.
Of course.
Of course. We'll be glad to come again.